All right, in this video, we're gonna go through the SFA program sequencing. So I've spent a lot of time thinking about how to get you from where you are today to having this short form content machine. That's literally my only goal. I'm obsessed with solving this. This program, as we've stepped it out, will be the best way for you to do that. So I want you to follow this workflow step by step, exactly as we've laid it out. This is how you're gonna go through the curriculum and work through the program, okay? So as an overview, we've done this for a lot of business owners. Personally, I'm a business owner. I've done this several times myself. We worked with hundreds of business owners doing this, and I'm gonna give it to you straight. The main reason why people fail with content is because they get overwhelmed and quit before they post enough volume to get their skills up to the point where it starts working. That's it. They quit before they get enough reps posted, period. And so I've tried to build this flow where I'm spoon feeding you information slowly, getting some reps under your belt so that you can get the skills up to a level where you feel confident and don't quit. If you're new to the game and you've never made content, please trust me, just follow this. And if you're not new to the game and you have made content, I've got like an accelerated flow for you. So let's go through that right now. It's a 5-phase flow that we're gonna step through. Okay, so if you're brand new to content, you're gonna go to phase 0, which is like the pre-step that I'm gonna talk about. If you're not brand new, you're gonna jump straight to phase 1, you're gonna skip phase 0. Okay, phase 0 is what I'm calling the first 3 reps, okay? So I made a dedicated module that will come right after this called First 3 Reps, where I walk you through granular step-by-step exactly what I want you to do to make your first 3 reps, okay? I've taken all of the complex theory, the psychology, the details you don't need out, and I've just built a really, really easy to follow recipe for how you would get through your first 3 reps. Now, the goal of doing this first is because I want you to sprint to pressing post 3 times. I don't want you to get bogged down in all the complexity and all the theory. You don't need that. Follow this recipe, get your first 3 videos out. If you've posted, let's say 20 to 30 videos in the past, you can skip this because you already have this first 3 piece done, right? But if you're a beginner, please do this. Now, if you start here on this phase 0, that first 3 reps module is going to walk you through the basics of competitor research, how to look at the data, how to find outliers, how to take an outlier, and then make your first video off that. You're going to do that 3 times. So if you're doing phase 0, if you're a beginner, please do this. Make and post these 3 videos and then move to the next phase, right? We're calling this your first 3 reps. Okay, so phase 1, after you've done your first 3 reps, or if you're not a beginner, you're gonna go to phase 1. So phase 1 is completing the full curriculum and making your first batch of 10 videos, okay? So next you're gonna complete the full curriculum and you're gonna step through the homework assignments. In every module, I've broken out checkpoints that are homework assignments to help you make a video as we go. You're not gonna watch the whole set every time you make a video, but the first time through, it's very helpful to do that. The curriculum walks through every core facet of social media you would need. I've tried not to be overwhelming, but I wanted to be thorough and give you all of the reasons why things work the way they do so that you can troubleshoot on your own. It breaks down the tools, the tactics, the strategies, the systems. Everything you need to win is in there. As you go through the homework, like I said, it's gonna take you through a full video rep in detail and it will provide some areas for you to focus on. When you make a rep, you can then come to the group calls. We can pull the video up. I can give you feedback. You can iterate. It works really well. Now, after finishing the curriculum, I want you to start working on your first batch of videos. We're calling them batches. Each batch is 10 reps. So if you're making a video every single weekday, that's 2 weeks, 10 videos. To graduate out of phase 1 and to book your call with me, your one-on-one call with me, you're gonna make and post your first batch of 10 videos. So if you're a beginner, you're doing the first 3 and then you're doing 10. You're doing 13 videos to then book the call with me. If you're not a beginner, you're skipping the first 3, you're doing your first 10, you're posting those and you're going. The goal when you make those first 10 is to use the master checklist that I showed you in the previous video as your source of truth for all the things that you should check off as you're going through. And reference the curriculum when you get stuck. You've got the checklist, you've got the Lego brick database, you have everything you need to be able to step through this. And in the subsequent modules, I break down how we do the batches, which types of videos we do for the batches, how you run that system, how to do research. I go through all of it, right? But I'm just stepping through. This is the workflow. Phase 0, first 3 reps. Phase 1, your first batch of 10, okay? Now, phase 2, once you have your first batch of 10, and like I said before, these can't be BS reps. These are real reps. You go through the curriculum, you really intentionally try to get better every single rep. You follow the prescription that we lay out. When you do that, perfect. Phase 2 is to book your one-on-one strategy call with me. Again, these reps must be legitimate. You know what that means. We're not expecting to have hero bulb. We don't want anyone coming in here and just pressing all 10 and 1. We know that's not real. So these need to be real, honor system, need to be real attempts. Okay, so once you book that one-on-one call with me, I'm gonna help go over your strategy. I'm gonna go over that first batch of 10. I'm gonna get everything aligned for you so that you make sure you know what to do on the subsequent batches moving forward. Okay, phase 3, create and post your next 4 batches of videos. Every batch is 10, so your next 4 batches will be your next 40 videos. You're aiming for 4 to 5 videos per week. If you post less than that, this is going to take longer than 3 to 4 months, right? We're looking for 40 videos. Once you've gone through the full curriculum and you made your first batch and you reviewed with me one-on-one, you're going to spend the next several months posting your next 40 videos. In this first main phase of posting, you should expect to take as much inspiration as possible from other successful channels on your niche. Stealing like an artist is what we're calling it. It's not copying, but it's really leaning on them for inspiration. And the reason why is because when you're a beginner, the easiest way to get better is to hold as much constant as you can. For example, maybe you copy the format, the hook, and the CTA for a video you find that worked, but you remix the topic and the visual layout. When you're in this skill development phase, this first 50 videos, the easiest way to learn is to take what's already worked, try to keep it constant, and then make the rest on your own. Once you figure out what's working for you after phase 3, then you can double down on your own channel's results. You can try to be more creative and original, but it's really helpful to kind of lock in on what's already worked for this first 50 videos. I would expect this process to take you 3 to 4 months if you're posting 4 to 5 times per week. And again, the goal is 50 total reps. So 40 reps in this phase, 50 total, not 3 months. If you post 3 times every week, it's going to take you 16 weeks, not 16 months, 16 weeks. It'll take you 4 months, right? So if you want to get there faster, you post more. So that's phase 3, getting to your first 50 videos. Okay, now we're going to phase 4. Create and post your next 50 videos. Once you've posted your first 50 following this program, you're going to have built a premium foundation on social media and you will be able to shift into advanced mode. Advanced mode is where you start building a system for social media production if you haven't already started doing that in phase 3. Some people will be ahead of others. Some people will get it quicker and then want to shift to the systems. Other people will still be building their foundations in phase 3. That's fine. By phase 4, you're probably going to be ready to start building the systems. And this is where you really start dialing in your unique value prop, your niche positioning, idea pillars, funnel strategy. Some of you may have already done some of this in phase 3, but in phase 4, it'll really crystallize. We'll build a system. Expect phase 4 to take another 3 to 4 months. Again, this is another 50 videos. Once you've completed your 100 reps posted in SFA, and we've been giving you feedback the whole time, you can expect to graduate from the SFA program if you want. If you want to stay in and keep getting help from us to kind of accelerate the exponential, you can. But this is where, if you are done with the program, you can feel free to graduate. 100 reps is really what you're looking for. Optional phase 5 is where you continue for another 100 videos. We've had people in here who have gone from scratch to hundreds of videos that are absolutely crushing because we've been giving them feedback over and over for over a year. So it's very helpful if you want to do this long term. If you want to remain in the program after the first 6 months, you can totally do so. We will have increased the price for new people, but you can lock in the price that you have. Previous members have gotten a lot of value from 12 plus months. I've said that several times. It's really shocking how fast people grow in that 8 to 12 month range once all the foundational skills really lock in. So this is always open for you if you want. It's required, but it's a helpful option. All right. Now, before I end the intro and we shift into the actual meat and potatoes of the program, I just want to go through one quick, massive disclaimer. And I have to do this legally, but also it's just helpful to set expectations. You will not see success immediately on social media, and this is going to require a ton of work. Hopefully you can tell by my voice, I do have the answer and I can help anyone solve this, but it's going to take a lot of work on your side, and that's just the reality of what it is. I'd estimate that it's going to take between 40 and 50 videos before you really start to feel the skill development lock in. At 100 videos total posted, let's say 6 to 8 months in, you will have started to unlock a lead engine that is significantly moving the needle for your business. It can happen sooner, but typically around this is average. Don't take on this challenge of content if you don't expect to spend at least 3 years doing it. It shouldn't take that long because we know what we're doing and we're going to help coach you through it. But just set your expectation. This is a 3-year project. We're really going to scale this over the next 3 years. I'm not going to lie to you. Building a cult personal brand and scaling organic channels is one of the most valuable projects you can take on, especially in the AI era. Having a personal brand before the distrust era begins is going to be super valuable, but it does require an incredible amount of consistent work. Anyone offering you an easy path to solving content is lying. If the requirement of work bothers you, this is not going to be the right challenge for you. So I'm just setting the expectations now. We have the answer. We're going to go through the answer, but just know it's going to take a bunch of work. All right, let's begin.